Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon.
Hi,
Hello. Hey, how are you, Aura?
I'm
Hello,
Uh,
good.
Professor.
hello, how are you? Uh, that was Antonio, right?
I'm
Um,
good, Professor. Thank you.
you're welcome. Um, Aura, your voice sounds a little tired today. Right? Is everything
Yes, a
okay?
little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hmm
Well,
But I'm okay.
okay, good, good. Yeah, I'm talking about, exhaustion. I'm the one. should, um, and I have a little, disturbing news. Actually, disturbing to mostly to me. Uh, I'm just, lucky to be, be able to conduct this class as usual on, oh, it makes you it gives almost like an impression that I was almost at a close call or something. No, nothing like that. It's just that my computer crashed yesterday, my regular computer, and the computer I'm using now is my old computer that was running on Windows 10. Basically Windows 10 support was over like 2 years ago, 2 3 years ago. So I had to get a new computer running on Windows 11. Yeah, and the computer that I've been using was on running on Windows 11, and that's the one,
Uh,
and it
Professor,
crashed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Khalid.
hi. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to interrupt. I just need to email you something very important. So could you tell me your email, please?
Oh, my email is uh, there's a Yahoo Mail, and I've been telling you from
Yeah, I
it's
tried to find
everywhere.
it on
Yeah,
Blackboard, but I couldn't find it.
no, you go to the alternate into student mode, and it's there aren't that many that is. So you just scroll down, and what was the
Scroll down to
uh,
where?
there? You scroll down, and you will find it.
On
It says,
on
the
the
title is "Please don't send the email to my DMs in the
on the
announcement."
announcements. I scrolled to the
Hmm.
bottom of the announcements. Let me check again.
It's right between quiz one instruction and connect chapter two
What's
problem.
what's 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 the date of the announcement?
This is September 7th.
September. I don't see an announcement from September 7th.
No,
Oh,
no, no.
Aura sent it
Maybe
to me. Thank you.
I'm not sharing. Yeah, I'm not sharing. Looks like I'm not
It's
sharing the
okay. I
screen
have it
just
now.
yet.
Thank you, Aura.
Yeah, yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm gonna send you
And
an email now, and
also,
it's really important.
yeah, 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 yeah. So,
Thank you.
if you, yeah, you're welcome. So please remember, don't send email to my BMCC email because it's all
Y-
goes into the junk mail folder, and I get tons of email every day, so it's not
Yeah,
gonna get discovered, and then it will go to the bottom every day. Every day, there will be tons of email. So if it is not discovered, it's gonna go to the bottom, and regularly it will be all purged, right? It will be all purged. So and then you can also find it in the course information, because if you go into the course information, right, somewhere there, right, uh, you see for office hours, please email to, right, schedule an appointment, right?
Okay, I just emailed you. Thank you, Professor. I'll remind you at the end of the class because it's
Um,
time sensitive.
all right. I'll check the email and I will reply to you immediately because I have at 2 o'clock I have a meeting.
Okay,
I have a meeting at 2 o'clock, so maybe right after the class ends at 1:50. So yeah, maybe I
sure.
can if you hang around like 5 minutes.
I will.
All righty. So where was I? The So my computer crashed, and I'm just temporarily using my old computer. Since this is my old computer, a lot of things are not being supported now. For example, no, doesn't have any touch screen, so there's nothing I can do on the touch screen. What I would normally do on a touch screen. And then I could barely there are many apps that were um, that I had to reinstall. But then I have to. I don't remember what password I used to log into those apps. So I can't temporarily. I cannot even use Zoom temporarily, and the only way I can use Zoom is through my phone. This is and it's a good thing at least I still have Blackboard. Anyway. Uh, and also, something that I'm missing very much is the whiteboard. There's no whiteboard on whiteboard is not supported on Windows 10. So I will be very limited in the way I conduct a class. Please bear with me until I get my computer fixed. Um, So, in our last class, um, uh, we talked about what. Okay, so let's see. I have to use something like no. I just improvised, and I quickly looked up. I searched for something that can replace whiteboard, but there's nothing. Uh, I found something that I could use online, but this is a German software, German app. So everything, all these all these commands or all these notations are all in German. So I'm having a hard time. I cannot even move this around. It's just So anyway, in our last class, yeah, uh, we talked about what Euler's number is and how we got to that. All right. This basically, and why it is needed. And I told you it's because uh, I have to, draw this with the mouse, so it takes a lot of time. This is the base of the natural law. Right? It's the base of the natural law. Natural log of x. Can't even undo it. X can be any number. So we can take log of any number, right? Uh, ah, And then, now we need to actually, apply this to find n, right? So to find n, we will need to take, natural log of future value over, this is so annoying and so cumbersome. Natural log of p over p divided by natural log of 1 plus r. Okay, so now with this in mind, let's go to our example. So our example, so you have this file, I told you to download this file last time, right? So please download this file. You have already downloaded it, so open it. Please open it, all right? Please open that. So now let's take a look at this example, right? Do you all have this in front of you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Aura and yes.
That was me.
Was it right? Yeah, Antonio. Yeah. Thank you. How about you, Angel? Angel, do you have this file in front of you, Angel? Hmm. How about you, Brian? Brian, do you have this file in front of you?
Yes.
Hmm. Good, good. Chris, do you have this file in front of you? Chris? Hmm? Are you
Yes,
there, Chris?
Professor.
Okay, okay, good, good. And Jacob, do you have this file in front of you? Should I show you this? Do you have this file in front of you, Jacob? Jacob, I would have to assume Jacob's not there. Khalid, do you have this file in front of you? Khalid? Hmm? Keisha, do you have this file in front of you? Keisha? Keisha, are you there? Keisha? Yosahani? Yosahani, do you have this file in front of
Yes.
you?
Yes, I
Okay,
have
good.
it.
All
I
right,
has
good,
it too.
Keisha. All righty, all righty. So let's get started. We'll do this row 26 first, but to do row 26, of course, we'll need to have, and we did this last time, I believe, finding the rate. So let's, do that first. Basically, rate FV over T. Let's have the rate filled in. It's and then divided by n, which is here. It's blank now, so it's not. But it's blank now, so it's not going to give you anything. But it's going to because this is blank. But we will know what n is as soon as we fill that in. N is 20, right? We'll have it, right? So periodic rate. I mean, if you want to grow your 10K into 30K, the pure of over 5 years, with a quarterly compounding, your periodic rate has to be 5.65%, which in annual rate you get that times 4, and we'll get exactly 22.59. It cannot be 24%. Because 24 is what you get when compounding is annual. But with more higher compounding frequency, it will take less interest rate to reach the same goal, right? But now in this case, we'll flip it. We'll flip it around and assume that we know R. We know R, which is of course that divided by 4. The periodic rate is given, so we will know it's going to take 20 quarters and 5 years. But we want to confirm that. We want to verify that. So then what do we do? To find n, we'll need to take natural log of fv divided by p, fv over p, and divided by natural log of 1 plus, somehow I entered natural log of 1 plus r. Okay, so everyone is good up to that point, and then when you are there, then hit enter, and we will get exactly 20. What's going on? G26, which is this. This one was something was. This was also a. This was the reason I had to ditch my old computer. There you go. Then I get exactly 20. Okay. But you're not done yet. You're not done yet. Why? Because the question was, how many years? Okay. Someone had a question. Did someone have a question? I heard someone. I heard a voice. Okay, if not, so everyone got 20 here. Everyone? Did everyone get 20 there? Yes or no?
I think the worksheet has different values.
Okay, why? Was the formula correct? Did you have this formula?
Oh, yes.
Okay, and then did you enter this manually? If you enter that manually, then you will get a, you have to do it exactly like that, because it's, we got 22.59 by multiplying the periodic rate by 4, and it's all these numbers are rounded. You have to remember that all these numbers are rounded, because we don't need to use for decimals. We don't use more than 3. Normally 2 to 3 decimal places. That's customary, because think about it. 2 decimal places, that's 1/100th. 3 decimal places, 1,000th, right? 2 decimal places, 1/100th, right, of 1%. 3 decimal places is 1,000th of 1%. I mean, beyond that, the impact is meaningless. In other words, the impact is insignificant, right? It doesn't affect the. But think about it. If you just manually entered 5.65, then look, you're ignoring all of this, right? You're ignoring all of this. Although Excel uses, Excel rounds it when you use, when you set Excel to show only 2 decimal places or 3 decimal places, Excel will automatically round it. But then it doesn't mean Excel forgot this. Excel knows. It's just, rounding it, right? So if you manually enter anything, unless it is, initial input data, it's gonna there's gonna be a rounding error. Okay, so don't enter anything manually. Okay, only the initial input data. You can enter initial input data manually, but anything else, no, you don't. Now, the final answer is, because the problem is asking, no, problem didn't ask how many quarters will it take. It will ask always how many years will it take or how long will it take, right? So then, it's not a difficult thing. All you need to do is simply divide 20 quarters by 4. That will take you exactly to 5 years, right? And then let's also try it like this. Okay, here's oh no. Saving is not important at this point. Why is it? The buttons were small, so. All right. So it kind of saved it. Oh, no. I should be. So we know this problem, right? This problem is, and we've done it already. Finding APR when, compounding is quarterly, right? So your principal is 10K. You want to grow it to 30K, so that's your target future value in 5 years. And the compounding frequency is quarterly. And we know, okay, first, what you need to do is, FV over PV raised to 1 over N. N is here in C20, but you got to remember this is quarterly compounding, so you got to also multiply that by D20, and not just this. You'll need to do now. What do you think? If you leave it like this, it's gonna divide 1 by C20 first, and then multiply that by D20. We don't want that to happen, so we need to C20 times D20 must happen first, right? That must be done first, right? So that it will be 1 over 20. Okay, you make that adjustment, and then minus 1, okay? And then what will you get? Then you will get a quarterly rate. See, you'll get a quarterly rate. Why? Because, you raised it to 1 over 20. Now, because we are dealing with quarterly compounding, so then to convert it into annual rate, all you need to do is, it's only simple. All you need to do is simply, because it is quarterly rate, enclose everything in a parenthesis and multiply that by 4, which is in D20, again, D20, right? Hit enter, you'll get 22.59. Okay, and then to do this, finding N when compounding frequency is 1 is easy. I mean, it's nothing. You'll just need to do, again, natural log of value over principal divided by natural log of 1 plus R. Okay. But if the compounding frequency is not 1, but let's say like this, quarterly, then we need to make adjustment. First of all, natural log of FE over PV, that cannot change. Then, natural log of 1 plus, this is annual rate, so you must divide it by frequency, M, which is in this case in D21, right? And then what will you get? You will get 20 quarters. This will give you 20 quarters, right? So that, but then this is not the correct answer yet. Why? You will, because the question was asking in years. So then what do? You will need to make adjustment. You will need to adjust the whole thing. You will enclose everything in the parentheses. Then times, right? 4. No, divided by 4. I'm sorry. What did I do? Divided by 4. 20 quarters divided by 4. Then you get 5 years. Again, this gets more complicated, right? If you do it like this, it gets more complicated. So that's why I prefer to use this model rather than this model. Okay. Again, we can use Excel's built-in function, but again, I don't recommend it because that's going to be just a black box, and that just turns you into a data puncher. Okay. All right, so if everyone got to the same result, we are done with the single cash flow model. Okay, we're done with the single cash flow. Now, so we're going to move on to the multiple cash flow model. All right. So what is a multiple cash flow? What we've done so far was, called a single cash flow model. What do I need to do? I lost. Why is it called a single cash flow model? Think about it. The cash flow in single cash flow model, right? Okay. Everything is, one single cash outflow and one single cash inflow. In other words, let's take a look at compounding. To arrive at that future value, right, you will have to deposit for that future value. You'll have to make a deposit of, let's say, $10,000, right? This is cash outflow, right? Cash outflow. There's one lump sum cash outflow, and then in the future, there will be one lump sum cash inflow, right? Positive cash, then there's a cash inflow. That's cash outflow negative. But it's not always like that, because this model works well with your deposit when you're saving, or when you buy a stock and keep the money in the stock, right? You keep the money in the stock for 5 years or 10 years, with the uh, and what happens, over time is, compounding, right? Although the during the holding period, right? During the holding period, the uh, the rate of return is not necessarily annual rate of return is not necessarily equal. It's not even, right? It will be all different. But eventually, you can annualize it. In other words, take the geometric average, and you can, annualize those returns. Um, and the But in reality, if you think about it, other than making a deposit, or buying a stock, putting money in the stock, investing in stock, the reality is a little different. For example, when you save money in the bank, yeah, it works this way. But let's suppose you borrow money from the bank. Let's suppose you got a loan from the bank. Then if you get a loan from the bank, let's say you got a $10,000 loan, and your term of the loan is 5 years. Loan term is 5 years, and 5 years later, at 10% interest rate, 5 years later, you might think, oh, the future value is 26K, almost 26K. So I will need to all I need to pay back is I will need to pay back just this 26K in 5 years. But is that how it happens? Is that what it is? Is that how it is in reality? When you borrow money from the bank, does the bank wait for you until the maturity for you to come up with the whole lump sum future value and pay it back at that maturity date? Huh? Okay. Please tell me. Please think about it. I mean, is that how it works? Hmm? I don't know if you have ever, but if you ever borrowed money from a bank, if you ever, even a small student loan, or if you have a student loan, let's say your student loan is let's say $100,000. Of course, they give you some grace period. Usually, student loans are paid back like 4 years after, or 5 years after you graduate from college, because you have to. But again, then the future value will become greater, because uh, you it will be there will be 5 years more, and interest for 5 years more interest for 5 years more will be added to the whole future value. But think about it. Do they, if you have a loan, a student loan, so let's say you have $100,000 student loan, so you graduate college in 5 years. Normally it will take 4 years, but in 5 years, let's say. And then they gave you a grace period of another 5 years. Then after that, so 10 years. 10 years later, do they expect you to show up one day, on the maturity date, 10 years later, and just pay back whatever the future value is? Hmm? Do you think that's the case? Anyone? Anyone has any idea? Okay, that's fine. But in reality, if you have a loan, the way it is paid back is not in that single lump sum. Okay, you understand? What happens is, they will want you to, if you have $100,000 loan for 10 years, then what happens is they will want you to pay back in installment, usually monthly installment, monthly payment, monthly installment. So it's called amortization. Okay? In other words, nobody waits. Think about it. 10 years is a long time. How does the lender, how can the lender be sure that you will still be alive 10 years later, and you will be in a good financial situation to come up with the whole future value? There's no guarantee, right? So what do they want? They will want you to pay back in monthly installment, right? So if it is 10 years, there will be 120 payments, and all those monthly payments will consist of principal and interest, right? Small part of principal and small part of the total interest. Otherwise, it cannot work, because in every lending there is a huge, risk. The risk is, of course, default risk. Most of all, there's default risk, and what else? There is, interest rate risk. Okay, also called interest rate may fluctuate. So the value of the present value of the present value of the loan can fluctuate too. There's inflation risk. There is liquidity risk. Interest rate risk is also called maturity risk or price risk. Remember in the first topic, ROI, you remember that? The last part was about, the risk premium, right? Risk premium and cost of capital. And the risk, there were 4 types of risks, first default risk, of course, that's the greatest. And then inflation risk, or the purchasing power risk. Third, liquidity risk. And fourth, maturity risk. Maturity risk is also called price risk, or interest rate risk. But because of the risk, they don't wait for 10 years. Okay, so usually, so you make payment in when you make the payment in monthly payment, right? It's called annuity. Annuity sounds like annuity is a kind of multiple cash flow model. Why multiple cash flow model? First, there is annuity. And annuity is regular payment and regular interval. Okay, the name is annuity, so you might think also it must be annual thing. Annual, no, it's not just annual thing. It is. It's not just annual thing. It is. It can be monthly. It can be quarterly, and it can be daily. It can be semi-annually. So monthly, quarterly, weekly, whatever, as long as the interval is regular, there's a regular interval, payment interval, and the amount is regular, that is called annuity. And it's a multiple cash flow model. Now think about it. As you pay back, right, there is, payment number 1, payment number 2. I mean, they are all, equal amount. Payment at time 2. So we can we can ignore the time subscript because and all the way to if it is 10 years, there will be and monthly payments. There will be 10 years is too long, so let's say 5 years, and there will be payment number 60. I can't even write it. For one single cash inflow, right? If you borrowed money, there is one single cash inflow at time 0. Isn't that right? Which is principal, right? Or present value at time 0. It's a one single cash flow, but this one single cash flow will generate multiple payments, which is multiple cash outflow, hence called multiple cash flow model. Now the second case is not annuity, it's irregular amount. Let's say you borrowed money from a close friend or a family member. Between very good friends or very close friends, they generally don't make it very tight, right? They say, oh, you can pay back whenever you can. You can pay back whenever you can. Between family members or so the interval will be irregular. I mean, if you're a nice person, if you're a trustworthy person, you will pay it back. You can pay it back in one single lump sum, or if one single lump sum is too onerous, then you can pay back in sporadically in small amount, and the amount can be irregular, and the interval can be sporadic, right? Or irregular, right? In that case, it will be a very lousy model, but why? Because the payment is all different every time, and the interest rate will be all different every time because there's no binding loan contract, so there's no binding interest rate on the loan. Every time the interest rate will reflect the will have to reflect the market interest rate. The market interest rate changes every once in a while. Not every year, but not every quarter, but 3 quarters later, interest rate can change. Depending on, and because the market, the interest rate changes constantly. Although the Fed funds rate is relatively steady, short in the market, actual credit market, the interest rate can fluctuate by small percentage. It's not big percentage, but by small percentage, by fractional percentage every day. So the rates will be irregular, different. The payment amount will be different, and the time will be different. So this will be a kind of lousy model, but relatively easier to do as long as you can keep track of the data. Well, that's all the time we have. So I'm gonna have to I'll call it a day, and we'll continue
Professor?
on. Yeah. Hold on. So
yeah,
I will
I'll
see
stay
you
behind.
guys. Yeah. Stay behind. I will see you guys. Have a great afternoon. I will see you guys on next Monday. So I'll stop sharing and stop recording and sign out. Okay.
Take care,
All right.
Professor.
Have a great
Have a good
afternoon.